Blessings in the name of the Lord Jesus. Welcome to Paraclet TV, making disciples through the power of the Holy Spirit.
And this is about theoretical framework. Now, what is theoretical framework? Theoretical framework sometimes refers to the relevant theories. It also includes the review of related literature. It also includes the review of related studies. And we are also referring to the different theories that you have learned in educational psychology. There are also some theories that you have learned in the fundamentals of psychology. And if you have courses about management or behavioral management, there are many theories that you have learned. And when we speak about theoretical framework refers to all of them. The things that you are going to read in an article can be considered in, you have to include them in the theoretical framework because there are formats that chapter 2 is not entitled review of related literature and studies, but instead they have entitled it theoretical framework. That when we speak about theoretical framework, it is called framework because it serves as the skeleton of your study. And like the anatomy, our body as an anatomy, our skeleton or our muscles are tough when it is rich in calcium, when there is sufficient minerals and vitamins that we intake. No, and in the same manner, your research or your dissertation can have a very tough, stable theoretical framework or unstable and a very weak framework. It depends upon the articles, the theories, the concepts, the principles, and the discussions of your major variables that you have come across by reading and reading and reading. And that will determine how much do you know about your dissertation, how much do you know specifically with your major variables. The more you know about your major variables, the more you will understand your dissertation proposal, the more you can satisfy the members of the panel during your dissertation presentation and defense. So this is very important. Now, one of the things that you have to include in the review of related literature or in the theoretical framework, which discusses your major variables that include your sub-variables and the indicators, is the so-called relevant theories. There are many theories that are available that are relevant, that are related, that has something to do with your dissertation. It is very rare that there is no available theories that is that is related to your study. There are many available theories. Now, when you come across with a theory, all you have to do is to do the following. One, look for the theory or the theories. There might be one exact theory that is related, exactly related to your proposal, but there are many times that there are many theories that are related to your studies or partial. A part of one theory is related, another part of another theory is related, and it can be 3 or 5 theories that are related to your study. Now, when you find theory or theories that are related, you have to include the author or the theorists, the theory title. Of course, the theories have their titles. Say, for example, environmental theory, we have the behavioral theory, cognitive theory. There are many theories, management theory, but there are many theories in management as well as in education and psychology that you have that you can come across with. So include the author, the theory title, and the theory statement. The author, the theory, and the theory statements are all present. All you have to do is to copy them. You don't have to paraphrase, you just copy the theory title and the theory statement, because the theory statement is stated permanently and all you have to do is to copy that. Now, right after mentioning the title of the theory, who is the theorist, and you have written the theory statement, then you explain the theory. Now, in the explanation of the theory, you must be the one to explain it in your own words. How? Do you understand the theory based from its statement? So right after the explanation of the theory, the end part of the relevant theory will be, why did you say that this theory is related to your dissertation proposal or to your proposed problem? So again, you will be the one to explain why the theory is related to your study. There is an example here. There are 4 theories on how children learn a language. Now, there are 4 theories. What are these theories? Behaviorism, linguistics, social interaction, and neurobiological perspective. So in this example, there are 4 theories mentioned according to Vokelich 2002, and he is the one, the theorist. And only the theory of social interaction is adopted in this study. So that's the only one. What is social interaction? The statement is this: social interaction theory does not come from either side of the nature or nurture debate. Rather, it acknowledges the influence of genetics and parental teaching. However, it shares with behaviorists the belief that environment plays a central role in children's language development. Then, it is being explained. The belief, likewise, along with the nativists, it believes that children possess an innate predisposition to learn language. Parents and teachers also support children's effort to learn language by focusing the child's attention on objects, and then you are going to relate. So ano-ano yung part? We have the theory, the theorist, and then the theory statement. The theory statement is in yellow, that environment plays a central role in children's language development. Then it is followed by the explanation of the theory. And then the last sentence will be the explanation of the relationship of the theory to your study. The social interaction theory was conceptualized in English language since English is the Philippines' second language. This study assumed that the English performance of second-year high school students in terms of their English factors such as social demographics, schools, and home environment, considering the generally recognized performance of the students in achievement tests and course. So you will see that in the relationship of the theory to your study, you are going to apply that with your variables, sub-variables, and other delimitation of your study. So this is just an example how you will do the relevant theory. Okay, next. What's the difference between conceptual and theoretical framework? When we say conceptual, no, and we have from the word concepts, and you have already learned that when we speak about concepts, this is one of the types of variables, because we have mentioned about that variables are of 2 types. We have concepts, we have constructs, if you still remember that. And then theoretical comes from the root word theories. So you will find that in an academic paper, theoretical framework is sometimes used. The others, they use conceptual framework. What is the difference between the two? A framework is similar to skeleton. It is basic structure or frame of reference. I've already discussed that. Theoretical framework. If you use theoretical framework, if there is an existing theory or theories that serve as the foundation of your study, the paradigm used by the theories can be fully adapted in the present study, can add or subtract variables from the original framework. Because every theory that you will find in any discipline has its drawing. The drawing to easily understand the theory is called paradigm or paradigm. When you use theoretical framework, it means that the full paradigm or the full drawing is exactly to be used in your study. So what you're going to do is to copy the paradigm or the paradigm. What is now the other one? Conceptual framework. You will use the word conceptual framework if the researchers made it is a researchers made framework, meaning you did not find an exact theory that fits to your dissertation. You find one theory but only a part of the theory. You find another theory but not the full theory but just a part of the theory. Now you're going to combine a part of one theory and another part of another theory, so it will result into your own made theory or made paradigm. Ang tawag doon is conceptual framework. A researcher's made framework, a combination of theories or parts of theories with other parts of a theory. So that's the difference between theoretical and conceptual framework. Now, because when you read relevant theories, when you read conceptual framework, when you read theoretical framework, it will entail you to spend time because of the too many texts, too many paragraphs that you're going to read. Now, for you to easily understand a theory, you look into the paradigm. And what is a paradigm? It is a scientific imagination of the researcher which is expressed visibly by drawings or sketches. So meaning, if there are 5 pages of the discussion of theories or concepts, for you to easily understand that five pages, there is 1 page that serves as the drawing for you to easily understand the discussion of the concept or the theory, and that is called paradigm. It is the capsule of the entire thesis. No, so in a whole dissertation, if that is 150 page, it is difficult to read it 1 page, the first page up to 150 page. So for you to easily understand and have a glimpse of what's the content of the 150 pages dissertation, you look into a page, and that page summarizes everything that is written in 1 to 150 pages, and that is called the paradigm of the study. When used in the scientific work, the symbols to use must be specific in meaning. The usual figures used are regular shapes. So you know what paradigm is. It is a framework written in a drawing, and regular shapes are being used such as rectangle. Then you have circles, lines, and arrows. Now, if you want to propose an irregular shape, no, in your paradigm or paradigm, you have to explain why you have used that irregular shapes. Because when you use regular shapes, it is easily or generally understood by many. But when you use irregular shapes, you have to explain that in your conceptual framework. Then right after the paradigm, there is a title to summarize the whole paradigm. Okay, now in research, dissertation, or in the thesis writing, there are generally general paradigm that are commonly used. General paradigm that are commonly used. The first one is the so-called IPO model. You know what is IPO model? You have the input, the process, and the output. So the input are your major variables and sub-variables. So you look at your statement of the problem, you will find that the first box refers to the input. And then how will you arrive with the answers? You're going to place the process. In this example, analysis of the data through the questionnaire in informal interviews and statement of the problem. And then your output, right after processing your input, the statement of the problem, you come with your output, the profiles, rows, and specimen collections are determined. So the title of the IPO model, determination of entrepreneur's profile, roles, and specimen. Now, the IPO model is largely used when your problems are in a factor isolating problems. So your lesson today is very connected with the statement of the problem. The lowest taxonomy, factor isolating. If you will just have a survey, you will assess or do an evaluation of a program, most questions are in the factor isolating questions. If that is the case, you use the IPO model. Next model is called the PC model. What is the P? P pertains to the predictor variables, and the C refers to the criterion variables. So PC, there are only two boxes here. So the P, the predictors, or this is used in a non-experimental research. The pool or the cause in an non-experimental research is called the predictor. So in this example, you have the competence of area supervisors, which serves as your predictor variable. There are sub-variables, knowledge level, pedagogical skills, classroom management skills. And then you have the effect in a non-experimental, we call that, the exact word is impact. Impact is a term for non-experimental research. We call that as the criterion variable or the crew productivity. We have the performance rating, satisfaction level, and customer satisfaction. So the title, relationship of the competence of the area supervisors to the crew productivity. So the line here represents relationship. When are you going to use the PC model? This is used when relating and assessing two or more variables. Studies that focus on relationship, associations, differences, and impacts will benefit from the model. So you have taxonomy level 2 in the statement of the problem. What is the relationship between? What is the association? What is the significant difference of the responses of the male and the female students, and so on and so forth. The third model is called the IV and DV model. You know what is IV, independent variable and dependent variables. Now, these two variables are largely used when you do an experimental research. So in this example, you have the independent variable or the cost. Teaching methodology used by instructors. Maybe the question is, what is more effective? Is it the computer-assisted instruction or demographic method? And then to assess and to measure the effectiveness of the teaching methodology, you are going to look into the performance, the level of performance of the HRM students or hotel restaurant management students. And these are now the three sub-variables: academic grades, practicum grades, and the parent satisfaction. And question number 3, what is the significant effect of the teaching methodology to the level of performance of HRM students? So you will see that the statement of the problem can be represented by paradigm. Question number 1. Question number 1 can be factor isolating. What is the what is the degree of the teaching methodology used by instructors in terms of computer-assisted instruction and demonstration method? Number 2 question. So factor isolating again, what is the level of performance of HRM students in terms of academic grades, practicum grades, and parent satisfaction? Question number 3, factor or situation relating. The arrow represent to an experimental research. The question is, what is the significant effect of utilizing the teaching methodology used by instructors to the level of performance of HRM students? This is used in experimental-based studies. The objective rates are higher ordered and situation relating. So that's IBDV model. The next one is DASP model. DASP means you have a question of situation producing. So DASP or DASP program model. You have a program, you have an intervention measures to propose right after your assessment of the status of your major variable. So in this example, you have the DASP model. Now you have the first major variable, the second major variable, and then your what faculty development program can be proposed right after the assessment of the teaching competence and the level of performance. So your title will be Relationship of the Teaching Competence of Clinical Instructors to the level of performance of nursing students towards a faculty development program. Note, this is used when the research will propose a program or any intervention measure. This model fits the situation producing objectives. Now, the last model is the O model or the original model. In the original model, the researcher is the one sketching the paradigm. You did not use or you do not use the 4 model, IPO, no, the PC, the IVDV, or the DASP model, but you create your own model. We call that as original model. So this is a model created by a researcher, and the title, Extent of Participation of Nursing Students to the Infection Control Program, Basis for Enhanced RLE Supervisory Program. So it's up to you. This is used when the researcher is presenting an original paradigm. The requirement is that it must be scientific. So when you create an original model, you have to exert effort in explaining all the symbols, all the text that you have incorporated in your paradigm. And the explanation of the paradigm is found in the conceptual framework. Okay.
Share Jesus.
Subscribe and
Subscribe and
share
share
Paraclet
Paraclet TV.
TV.
Go, go, go.